Right, so here we are with a PS, doing a bit of an update. As you can see, I've done a fair bit. This is a cheap Chinese loom for a K series, which I won't be using, but it was like 35 quid off of Alibaba. And I thought, you know what, this is going to be awesome to mock up with. I mean, this is janky as shit, but for mocking up, it's actually pretty freaking good. Like, it's got most of the sensors, don't get me wrong, obviously none of the sensors really match this engine, but it gives the main engine stuff a place to go, so I can go, okay, well that might need to be this long, what have you. Looking at the rest of it, I've done an intercooler. Now, the reason I haven't touched this for so long is because last time I flipped out, because alley welding is something I do not enjoy, but I want to do everything on the car for myself. I don't want to pay anyone to do anything, because 99% of the time some problem occurs. Like, you get a wiring loom made, problem occurs, you don't know any of the pinouts or any of the stuff on it, because none of these wiring guys actually give you a printout sheet with all the real data, unless it's like really high end, and then you're paying £5,000-6,000 for an engine loom. It's just easier, do it myself, do it the way I want to do it. I can fix it afterwards. So I've done the intercooler. Obviously, we've got the G30 770 mounted there. I've done a dual pipe here. I know the welding's a bit janky, but I've pressure tested this to 2 bar, and it's absolutely no problem at all. There's no leaks whatsoever. I'm going to have the what's his name's fittings, these quick clamps on there. It's a little, I say, it's a bit janky, but basically it flows out, and there's actually a ridge inside there, so it actually flows out and should end up down here as well, not just all end up bolting up this end. But you can see the profile there. It's not the way I'd want it. Obviously, I'd want everything smooth and buttery and CNC'd, but reality is I haven't got a CNC machine. Well, not that type of CNC. This one's tapered, so it does flow up, and I've welded this. This is actually the cast original end that I sort of put in there, and it's actually got a really smooth transition inside, so it's quite nice. Obviously a really short in out. I've got the radiator coming, which basically fits inside this profile perfectly, with 2 pipes that come out either side of the boost pipe, so hopefully that will plumb in beautifully. So yeah, I mean, you can see the welding isn't too shabby. Some of it, thin to thick, I'm really struggling with. And then, you know, you do a run and it goes, oh yeah, and then it'll just fucking do something like melt back, and it's just practice. But yeah, so that's all on there, all looking pretty good. I'm unsure now about these mounts down here. So let me show you, they're tapered in with bolts, and everything fits up nicely. Yeah, so there it is there. But I don't know, it's really close down here. There is a gap, it's like 3 or 4 mil per side, but I think I'm going to put this on the same joints as these. So basically put 2 little like Heim joints or spherical bearings, whatever you want to call them. Running the exhaust system out, it's a 3-inch outlet, so I'm going to keep it into the 3-inch. Obviously I'd like a bigger exhaust, but Nissan's notorious for basically not having a lot of space underneath. So I don't know whether I'm going to run it through the car, and then that'll give me all the space I need, and then I can just like wrap it and you know, put stuff on it so it's heat insulated, no problem. Or run it under the car, maybe split into a pair of 2.5 inches or 3 inches, and then one that way, or just run it all the way to the back. I'm not entirely sure yet, but that's going to be a worry later situation. So the things I've got to do now, I've done this, I redid this mount a while ago. There is a Instagram and YouTube short on it, but I've still got to do that one down there. So that's what it was. They're like 5mm plate just welded in, but I'm basically going to redo that one the same as this one. So I think it's something like half the weight of that one down there, which is only 3mm plate, and then obviously a bit of roll cage tube between the two. They'll all come out and be zinc plated anyway. So at the minute, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good progress in a short period of time. Like I say, I bought this dodgy loom. This is going to help me get all my IOs and stuff like that. I'm struggling with an ECU. I was going to go Haltech, but I saw one of their PDMs the other day blow up, and when I say blow up, the settings on the PDM were protective enough that it shouldn't have died, but basically somehow the voltage and the whatever happens, maybe it pulled too many amps, I don't know, but it should have been self-protected, but it died. They took it back, but they wouldn't tell us what was wrong with it. So I'm not going to go into it any more than that, but nonetheless, they took it back, wouldn't say what was wrong with it, and yeah, customer had to get another one, basically. I don't know if you got a discount with that or not, but whatever. So because of that, and the technical, was that all right? Yeah, the technical wasn't too bad, but like Link Technical now, so Link ECU, their technical's gone fucking through the bin, mate. Like, it used to be, I can't remember the guy's name. I don't know if it was not Andy, or he was an Australian fella, 24 hours. You could call him up, he'd know exactly what you're talking about, and then he'd literally just, bam, 5 minutes on the phone instead of 4 hours trying to research it online, and you would have your problem solved, like 5 minutes. Like, he was so good. Now they've got some French guy who doesn't sound like he's actually into the ECU. It sounds more like he's a designer or something of some, whatever. They're not super helpful. Every time I've rang him up for a question, it's, just not helpful at all. So I'm looking at Motec. So far, Motec, you try and call them in the UK, and my phone contract doesn't let me phone call, basically. The way I've set it up is it doesn't let me phone any companies that charge, basically. So you can't get caught out and end up with a 40 quid bill. But because of that, Motec, when you call them, they charge you to call them. So that's nice. I don't like that. That is not good customer service. And I'm sure that maybe their customer service is fine. They're only open 5 days a week. There's no 24-hour contact. And let's face it, we're all racing on the weekends. When do we have problems? On the weekends. Do you know what I mean? Or out of hours. That's how this tuning stuff goes. Do you know what I mean? You're tuning on the dyno at fucking 11 o'clock at night or whatever. So, yeah, not overly impressed with that so far. I sent them an email this morning must have been about 10 o'clock. It's now, I don't know, 4:30. Haven't got back to me. So even on a work day, appreciate it's Friday, haven't had an email back, and it's been 6-7 hours. So do you like? I would like a Motec, and the money's not really an issue. Obviously, everyone's concerned about the money, but if it does exactly what you want, does it matter? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to spend it once, it's going to go on this car and that car. It's going to service both cars. So yeah, I don't mind spending 5-6 grand on all the stuff, because I know the ECU is about 3 grand, and then I'm not sure 100% on the pricing on the GPA GPR package and stuff like that. I'm looking at an M150, which hasn't got the auto sport connectors. And then you have to have a logging package, which I don't think are too much. I think stage 2 is 250 or 300 quid, I can't remember now. But that's only 200 hertz now. Potentially, with the way I'm going with this, I might want more than that. But you can always upgrade, and they give you some of the money back when you upgrade. So yeah. But yeah, it's just trying to figure out some stuff, because when they turn their VTEC on, I saw in a post the other day, and this was from Adam from Link, he was saying that Motec they switch VTEC, so obviously you've got like a high and low cam map basically for VTEC on, VTEC off, but the way they switch is only RPM based, not RPM and manifold based. So imagine, I mean, the car isn't gonna, but just for instance, there might be a reason why I might want to have VTEC not cut in at 4,500 RPM or 5,000, whatever it is, because the manifold pressure is under 1.5 bar or 1 bar or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, normally you do it on RPM plus manifold pressure, and then maybe you want to put something else in there, I don't know, but like, to have it only on RPM, it means that you could be just cruising, not that you would in this, but you could be cruising on the road, you know, come up to 5,000 RPM, and you might be, you know, pulling fucking, I don't know, loads of vacuum, but yet it switches over because you're in the RPM range. I don't want that. And something else was, with the VTC maps, he also said, or someone said, that you can't do a fourth dimension, so a fourth axis or whatever, on a VE map. And I was like, right, okay. Now I'm sure there's another way to do it, i.e. there's probably another map somewhere else or whatever, but I'm not that clued up in the way Motec works. So I'm gonna download the M1 tune and just have a look through it and try and figure some of this stuff out. But hopefully they've done an update. Maybe this is old information. Yeah, so that's it ECU wise, but obviously all of this doesn't really matter because all of this is going to go back into the ECU. So it's going to be main engine. I'll have a coil loom which will be separate just in case I ever change the coils, so you will have a coil loom that starts there. We'll have a injector loom. Do I do the injector loom? I'm not sure on the injector loom because I'm going to run 8 injectors anyway. Something else I have got to do is I've got to sort out the cam sensors, because the K24 has a pointing straight out cam sensor and one that points up. The K20s have 2 pointing out cam sensors, but of course firewall, so I need 2 of these pointing up cam sensors, so I can get the plugs on there nicely. I can get the plug on there, but it's just tight and there's no point stressing. The other thing I'm going to have to do, which is what I'm doing now, I do want to run, obviously I'm going to get rid of the turbo, i.e. I'm going to put a link pipe in there, which might be a bit tight. We'll have to figure that one out. Either I'm basically going to try and run it NA, as much NA as, so maybe I'll just disconnect the turbo or something. Obviously I don't want to overspin it, but regardless, I guess it won't be under load. I want individual exhaust gas temps, plus I would want individual lambdas on each one. So obviously the mounting the wideband, they need to basically be not upright, they need to be sort of sticking out at an angle. The more angle I can get up until basically, I think it's, they say 10 degrees off of the horizontal plane, but obviously I'm going to struggle to get them in right over that side, especially bolts and things like that. So but and then, so what I'm going to do is 2 seconds. Right, yeah, so what I'm going to do is, I've just done a test cut here to see, but basically I want to, where's the other bit gone? There. Right. So let me show you the old one, hold on. Right, so I've got all of these wideband bungs basically. Oh, that's nice. It's supposed to be all stainless steel. Still, rusty stainless steel. And I appreciate you do get some stainless steels with iron in them, or less nickel and stuff, and they do rust, or chromium, whatever it is. But nonetheless, you would think that they wouldn't rust. So basically, I've machined, let's be honest, ground off all of that, so it looks like that. So that's basically then going to sit in this 1 inch, 1.5 inch pipe or whatever, and it doesn't get in the way. I'll still, once it's welded, there is a little lip in there. Once that's welded, I'll just basically sand that all off, and then I can TIG around that. That would be no problem. Doesn't fit 100%, but gives me a nice V to TIG into. And then when you look, this is an NTK. This is the one for the dynos, so they're bucks, but the Bosch will be pretty similar in there. But basically, yeah. And we're gonna have to sit them as far over as we can. So that's what I'm sizing up now. It does go quite far in, and obviously it is massively restricting. That's quite a large amount of space, but the plan is to basically drill a hole through this, which is that 1/4 inch size, and then I'll drill a hole in this, push, sorry, upside down donut. Yeah, so I'm going to drill into this, or should I just weld that straight on? Ooh, it might start getting lengthy. Don't know whether to machine that down or I think I'll probably put a drill hole in the top there, pop that, I'll put this in the lathe, pop that in there, so I can maybe do 3, I don't want to get too leery with the distance, 3 mil in there, something like that. That will go on, and then I can put the, once I've finished with the wide bands on there, I can then run, because once it's fully turboed, obviously it's going to be under pressure, the wide bands won't last very long at all. So then I can, once it's tuned and I know how the engine's running, then put a temperature sensor through there, and job's a good one. So once I've marked and drilled each one of these, they're going to have to go in as basically as much angle as we can get without getting silly. Some are better than others, and I will try and get them all the same. This one's a bit of a pain in the arse because the clutch reservoir's there. But she will go in. Like I say, I'm going to push them up quite far to the port wall. I would have actually preferred them further out, but because this one's got a bend in it, it's got to be there. And by the time you get down here, that's right in place of where that is. So it's either got to go this side or this side. So, and I can't do that because of the bend. So it's going to have to be, that side. So I'm going to mark off all of these, and hopefully we'll be able to get that in there. I mean, I could pull that out of the way, but it'd be nice to get it quite far back. And the fact that that sensor goes in there, yeah, the fact that that sensor goes in there, the probe isn't going to be any longer than that anyway. I mean, I'll double check, especially as it sits on top. But I'll get this played around with first. Yeah, I'll get this played around with first, and then we'll see. Yeah, so that is currently where I'm at. Obviously, I've still got to do all the brakes, all the front end, you know, loads of stuff. But engine-wise, I'm doing the current pin-out at the minute to see everything that I need. Interestingly, all the wide bands and the thermocouples, so the exhaust gas temperatures, they're all going to be on a separate loom, because it doesn't matter whether you buy Motec or you buy Haltech or Link. Basically, the wide bands are all CAN, so they go into a CAN box and then CAN into the ECU. And same with the thermocouples. Sometimes they've got a little thermocouple box. I don't know if it's CAN out or whether it just goes to CAN inputs. I know some of the ECUs have got thermocouple inputs, like the old Link Thunder. It's got 2 thermocouples, I think. But either way, the newer stuff doesn't seem to have K-type thermocouples in them. So yeah, but I am doing the pin out. I've got a test, like a sheet that pre-filled out that was done years ago. So I'll re-edit one of them, and I've put the Motec plugs on there for now. Again, it will all be white. So the engine loom's going to be separate. And then I'm going to have a separate mini loom for the coils, 8 injectors, 4 on top, 4 underneath once that's drilled. We are going to have EMAP as well. So EMAP will be, let's have a look. So all those things are from Haltech. EMAP, which is this one. Ah, see, look, that's what they've done. That's exactly what they've done. Oh yeah, look, tiny little hole for the EMAP. Don't think I'm going to do that. Although we could go to wideband there. Single wideband. Interesting. Because we've got to fit collective wideband. So I could fit it this side. Probably just going to fit it here. Probably just before the bend, I think, or somewhere halfway between. Don't want to fit it straight out of the turbo because it will be very turbulent there. So yeah, probably fit it somewhere down here. I could actually fit it just before the bend. There'll be a bit of latency, obviously, as the gases come out, so the timing. So the closer the better, but the further away the better because of the temperatures. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, so they've drilled that out for EMAP. But what I want I actually want 2 EMAPs. I want 1 EMAP here and a secondary EMAP down here, because I want to see how restrictive the exhaust is on this side. So this is fully for testing for me. Oh, and I've got turbo speed. Ooh, yeah. And then you've got joules. I'm going to have coolant pressure, coolant temperature, although they're probably going to be in the housing sides. We'll see. Yeah, so that's the EMAP one there. Got a tiny little hole in the end, and that's I guess that's probably 1/4 inch. Let's have a little look. Oh, it's like a brake fitting. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to use this, and I probably won't use this. I'll probably swap some of my other ones out. I don't know what the rest of it is. Yeah, so that's pressure sensor. That's a blank off. I don't really know what that is. I think they just give you all this stuff. I think this came up on speeding parts, and I was like, oh, I'll give that a punt. But I like what they've done there with the, you know, drilled it out, tapped it, and then put a tiny hole in there. So whether this is long enough or not, I doubt it. I'll probably sod this off, keep these. This is just going to be M10x1 or something like that, isn't it? And then I can do a spiral in copper. That might be copper just painted. Don't know. Hard to tell. And then I assume, yeah, that will go into there. Then you can put your pressure sensor on there. Maybe with another line, you know, try and keep things cool. Not sure. Oh, so that's just the weld-on bung that they've given me. Okay. I wish they'd shape these things, you know. Put a 3-inch rad on it. Do you know what I mean? The same radius as a 3-inch pipe, and that's a bung, obviously. All right, okay, yeah. So that makes all sense. You don't have to run it if you don't want it. But I'm going to run 2 EMAPs anyway. Like I say, one pre-turbo to see what the actual pressure differential across the inlet and exhaust is, and then one post-turbo, just so I know the actual pressure in the exhaust system, because then we can look at back pressure there, and if it's high enough, obviously reducing it, you know, I can change this exhaust, run a front side exit if I want to make loads of power or do a test, or who knows. But the fact that there's only a 3-inch outlet, you're limited anyway. Obviously you can tape it up, and as the gases are going to cool down, and the velocity is going to drop, so it's going to slow down, lose energy, so you might want to pop it up a size, but I can do that test, you know. Everyone says that, you know, you make them bigger, but I can actually, I mean, we've always gone, okay, yeah, 3-inch outlet, let's say, and then we'll go to 3.5 inch if you like, 600-700 horsepower, but that's just what everyone's always done, like back-to-back test it. I could. Whether I will or not, I don't know. I'm also going to do pressure. Well, if I don't have pressure on the ECU, I'm going to put ports. So I'll probably put them in the top here or something, drill this out and weld on a little boss so I can have pressure out of the turbo and then in the inlet manifold, obviously. Something I thought of the other day, I also need to stabilise this from rotation. So I'm going to have to come up, probably maybe get a longer bolt or something and just put a steady or something on it. Still, I just think it's going to just go and vibrate. But the reason it's on 2 is because I've seen these have issues with like solid mounted engines. The vibration can mess around with the, what's his name? Even though this isn't solid mount, it just seems the best way to do it. And for all the effort, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so that is it so far. Hopefully next time I might have all the wide bands on, and then I can rip that exhaust out and I can get on with that other engine mount, replicate that. I think I've still got the base plate and engine plate on the CNC plasma cutter. Yeah, if you've got any suggestions or things that I'm overlooking, whack them in the comments, because yeah, there's a lot going on and it's quite a big project. So, and because it's mine, I don't get time to think about it all the time. Like when it's a customer's car, you're on it. And now it's mine. It's like, well, you know, you forget, you do 10 minutes, you come away. So I'm sure there's lots of other things. But yeah, I think, like I say, next stage is these wide bands. I'm doing the wiring pin out, which I'll probably print and show you anyway. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.